Imagine this. You are 32,000 feet above the ground. That is almost 10 kilometers high. The sky around you is dark blue, almost black. Below you, nothing but Atlantic Ocean. Endless water. No land in sight, and silence. The engines stop. Both of them. Not one, two. No sound, no power, no thrust pushing your plane forward. You are flying a metal tube weighing 175,000 pounds. A very heavy, very fast glider, falling from the sky. What do? Panic? Pray? Close your eyes and hope, or do you become the calmest person in the world? This is not a movie. This is not fiction. This happened on January 15th, 2009, and the man in the pilot's seat was named Chesley Sullenberger, but everyone calls him Sully. Today, we are going to live through the most famous emergency landing in history, and along the way, you are going to learn powerful English words that will stay with you forever. Because this story is not just about a plane. It is about what humans can do when everything goes wrong. Let me take you back to that morning. It is a cold Thursday in New York City. The temperature is 21 degrees Fahrenheit. That is -6 degrees Celsius. Ice is forming on the streets. People are walking fast, heads down, coffee in hand. US Airways Flight 549 is preparing for takeoff. The plane is an Airbus A320. It is a beautiful machine. 150 passengers are on board, 5 crew members, 155 souls, as pilots say, 155 lives depending on one man and one machine. Sully is 57 years old. He has been flying for 40 years. 40 years. That is longer than most of you have been alive. He has flown everything, fighter jets in the military, commercial planes for decades. He has seen storms, mechanical problems, angry passengers, medical emergencies, but he has never seen what is coming. His co-pilot is Jeffrey Skiles. It is Skiles's first day flying the A320. He is still learning this specific plane. The irony is painful. The most experienced pilot in the sky, sitting next to the newest, at 3:24 p.m., Flight 1549 takes off. The engines roar. The plane 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 3,000. The city of New York spreads below like a toy model. The Hudson River shines like a silver snake. Sully feels the familiar vibration of power. The engines are healthy. The sky is clear. In 3 hours, they will land in Charlotte, North Carolina. Passengers will see their families. Sully will go home to his wife and daughters. Everything is normal. Everything is perfect. And then the birds come at 3:27 p.m., 3 minutes after takeoff. Sully sees them, a flock of Canadian geese, big birds. Each one weighs about 10 pounds. There are maybe 20 of them, maybe 30. They are flying directly in front of the plane. Sully has no time to react, no time to turn, no time to climb above them. The plane is moving at 250 miles per hour. The birds are moving at 40 miles per hour. The closing speed is almost 300 miles per hour. Impact, the sound is terrible, not a bang, a series of thuds, like someone hitting the plane with a baseball bat, again and again and again. Passengers hear it. Some scream. Some look out the windows and see feathers and blood splattered across the glass. But the real damage is inside. Both engines are hit. The left engine is destroyed. The right engine is on fire, and then silence, the roar of the engines disappears. The vibration stops. The plane becomes quiet, eerily quiet, like a library, like a grave. Sully looks at his instruments. The engine power gauges show 0, 0, both of them. He cannot believe his eyes. In 40 years of flying, he has never lost both engines. Pilots train for single-engine failure. They practice it in simulators. But 2 engines, that is almost impossible. That is a nightmare. The plane is at 3,000 feet now, and it is not climbing anymore. It is slowing down. It is sinking. Sully takes the controls. His hands are steady. His heart is pounding, but his hands do not shake. This is what 40 years of training does. This is what experience means. When your mind wants to panic, your body remembers what to do. He tries to restart the left engine. Nothing. He radios air traffic control. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1549. Hit birds. We've lost thrust in both engines. We're turning back towards LaGuardia. The word thrust means the force that pushes the plane forward. Without thrust, a plane cannot fly. It can only fall. Air traffic control responds immediately. Cactus 1549, turn left heading 220. You can land runway 13 at LaGuardia. Sully considers this. LaGuardia is behind him. Can he make it? He looks at his altitude, 3,000 feet, falling fast, distance, altitude, speed, glide ratio. The answer is no. He cannot make LaGuardia. He does not have enough height. He does not have enough speed. If he tries to turn back, he will crash into buildings, into houses. He tells air traffic control, "We're unable. We may end up in the Hudson." The Hudson, the river, the water. Landing on water is called ditching. It is one of the most dangerous things a pilot can do. Most ditching attempts fail. The plane hits the water at the wrong angle. It breaks apart. It sinks. Passengers drown. Sully knows all of this. He knows the statistics, he knows the risks, but he also knows he has no choice. He makes the decision in seconds. Maybe 3 seconds, maybe 5. He will land the plane in the Hudson River. Now comes the hardest part. Sully has to glide the plane. Glide means to fly without engine power. The plane is still moving forward because of its speed and weight, but it is losing altitude constantly. It is like riding a bicycle downhill with no pedals. You keep moving, but you cannot go up. You can only go down. He needs to find the perfect speed. Too fast, and the plane will hit the water too hard. Too slow, and the plane will stall. Stall means the wings stop producing lift. The plane stops flying and starts falling like a stone. He needs to find the perfect angle. Too steep, and the nose will dig into the water. Too shallow, and the tail will hit first. Flipping the plane, he needs to find the perfect place on the river. Too close to the city, and there are boats and bridges. Too far, and the water is deeper, colder, harder to escape from. All of this while the plane is falling, while passengers are screaming, while the co-pilot is reading emergency checklists as fast as he can. Sully looks out the window. He sees the George Washington Bridge ahead. It is low, too low. The plane is already below the top of the bridge. He will have to fly under it. Under a bridge, in a passenger plane, with no engines. He does not hesitate. He adjusts the controls. The plane dips slightly. It passes under the bridge. Barely. The passengers do not know how close they came to death in that moment. But Sully knows. He feels it in his bones. Wide, grey, cold. There are boats on the water. Ferries, tourist boats. He needs to miss them. He needs to land parallel to the current, not against it. He needs to land near boats, so rescue can come quickly, but not so near that he hits them. The altitude is now 1,000 feet, 500, 300. He makes one final adjustment. He pulls the nose up slightly. This is called flaring. It slows the plane down just before touchdown. It is the difference between a crash and a landing. He speaks to the passengers. His voice is calm, unbelievably calm, like he is ordering coffee. This is the captain. Brace for impact. The plane hits the water, not a crash. A landing, the most perfect water landing in aviation history. The tail touches first, then the belly, then the nose. The plane skips once, then it stones into the water. It does not break apart. It does not flip over. It floats. Sully opens the cockpit door. He walks through the cabin. Water is coming in. Cold, dark water. The temperature is 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius. In water that cold, you have minutes before hypothermia sets in. Hypothermia means your body loses heat faster than it can produce it. Your organs shut down. You die. But Sully is not thinking about himself. He is thinking about his passengers. He walks the length of the plane, twice. He makes sure everyone is out. He makes sure no one is left behind. Only then does he leave. Outside, a miracle is happening. The ferries, the tourist boats, the Coast Guard. They are all coming. New Yorkers, tough, busy, sometimes rude New Yorkers, are dropping everything to save strangers. Within 4 minutes, the first boat reaches the plane. Within 30 minutes, all 155 people are rescued. 155 people, 0 deaths, 0 serious injuries. The plane is floating in the Hudson like a white whale. The photograph becomes famous around the world. The miracle on the Hudson, they call it. But Sully does not call it a miracle. He calls it preparation. He calls it training. He calls it doing your job when it matters most. In the days that follow, Sully becomes famous. Everyone wants to hear his story. The news, the talk shows. The president invites him to the White House. But Sully does not feel like a hero. He feels like a man who did his job. He tells reporters, "I was just doing what I was trained to do." For 42 years, I made small deposits in a bank of experience. I made a sudden, unexpected withdrawal. The word withdrawal means taking money out of a bank. But Sully uses it as a metaphor. He means that all his years of training, all his hours of practice, all his small lessons, they were deposits. And in those 208 seconds between the bird strike and the landing, he withdrew everything. He used it all. The National Transportation Safety Board investigates. They run simulations. They ask, could he have made it back to LaGuardia? Could he have reached another airport? The simulators say yes. The computers say he could have turned back. But the computers are wrong. Because computers do not feel fear. Computers do not process information in 3 seconds. Computers do not look out a window and see a city full of people and think, if I am wrong, thousands die. Sully was right. The board agrees. He made the only possible choice, the right choice. The choice that saved 155 lives. So what does this story teach us? It teaches us about calm under pressure. When everything is falling apart, the person who stays calm has the advantage. Panic is contagious, but so is calm. Sully's calmness spread to his co-pilot, to his crew, to his passengers. Because he was calm, they were calm. Because they were calm, they followed instructions. Because they followed instructions, they lived. It teaches us about preparation. Sully did not become a hero in 208 seconds. He became a hero over 40 years. Every flight, every simulation, every emergency drill, every small decision to pay attention, to learn, to improve. You do not rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training, and it teaches us about decisiveness. Sully made his decision in seconds. He did not wait for perfect information. He did not ask for permission. He looked at the facts, trusted his experience, and acted. In life, we often wait too long. We want certainty. We want guarantees. But sometimes, the only wrong choice is no choice at all. Now, let us look at some powerful words from this story. Thrust, the force that pushes something forward. In aviation, thrust comes from engines. In life, thrust comes from motivation, from purpose, from example sentence. Without thrust, the plane could not climb, glide, to move smoothly through the air without engine power. Also used for birds, for dancers, for anything that moves gracefully without force. Example sentence. The pilot had to glide the plane toward the river. Stall, when a plane loses lift and begins to fall. Also, or when progress stops completely. Example sentence. If the plane stalled, it would fall from the sky. Ditching, an emergency landing on water. From the verb to ditch, which also means to abandon something or someone unexpectedly. Example sentence. Ditching is one of the most dangerous emergency procedures. Hypothermia, a dangerous drop in body temperature. The prefix hypo means below or under. Thermia comes from heat. So hypothermia means below heat. Example sentence. Passengers risked hypothermia in the freezing river water, flare, to pull the nose of a plane up just before landing. Also means a sudden burst of light or emotion. Example sentence. The pilot flared the plane to slow it down before touchdown. Withdrawal, taking something out of a place where it was stored. In banking, you withdraw money. In life, you withdraw from your experience, your knowledge, your courage. Example sentence. Sully made a withdrawal from his bank of experience. Decisiveness, the ability to make decisions quickly and confidently. One of the most valuable qualities in any language, in any career, in any life. Example sentence. Her decisiveness saved the company during the crisis. Write these words down, use them in sentences, make them yours. Because vocabulary is not just memorization, vocabulary is power. Every word you learn is a tool you can use when you need it most. Sully Sullenberger is retired now. He writes books. He gives speeches. He tells young pilots, never stop learning, never stop preparing, because you never know when your 208 seconds will come. And here is where his story meets yours. You are learning English right now. Maybe it feels slow. Maybe it feels hard. Maybe you wonder if you will ever be fluent. Maybe you think, I am not making progress. I am not getting better. But you are making deposits. Every word, every sentence, every story you listen to, every video you watch, You are building a bank of language, and one day you will need to make a withdrawal, maybe in a job interview, maybe in a conversation with a stranger, maybe in a moment when someone needs you to understand, to respond, to connect, and when that moment comes, you will be ready. Because you prepared, because you practiced, because you never gave up. That is the real miracle. Not the landing on the Hudson, the landing you make every single day when you choose to keep learning. Flight 1549 sank into the Hudson River that day. It was pulled from the water, piece by piece, and studied. The plane is gone now. But the story remains, the story of a man who stayed calm when the world went quiet, who made the hard choice when every choice was hard, who walked through a sinking plane to make sure no one was left behind. That is leadership. That is courage. That is what it means to be truly awake. If this story moved you, if these words helped you, hit that like button. Let this story travel further. And if you want more stories that turn history into power, language into adventure, and learning into something you actually feel, subscribe to Awakening Avenue. Drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever had to stay calm in a crisis? What happened? I want to hear your response. Until next time, keep learning, keep preparing, and remember, the plane is only falling until you decide where to land.